In this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to live the James Bond lifestyle, okay? A lot of people want to live a lifestyle of luxury. They want to live a lifestyle of travel. They want to live a lifestyle of style, right? Have women around them, make money, all that good stuff. But how do you actually do it, right? You can have a bunch of money and not live the James Bond lifestyle. You can have women and not live the James Bond lifestyle. You could have style and not live the James Bond lifestyle. So how do you incorporate all of that together to live that life that you want to live, right? This is a very interesting concept that I have had in my mind and thought about for years now. And there's been times of my life when I've been able to implement it. And there's been other times in my life where I've known about it and not been able to implement it. So without further ado, let me go ahead and show you guys exactly how to do so. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to define James Bond, right? We probably have all seen the movies. If you haven't seen the movies, okay, James Bond is an absolute G, okay? He's well-rounded, meaning he doesn't only just have money or have the ability to do this or the ability to do that, right? He's got money, he's got fast cars, he's got physical ability, he could shoot, he could run, he's got women around him, bills always paid, everything's taken care of. He's just an absolute G, right? And all-around capability, right? And ultimately the man with the plan. And for the sake of this video, I'm using the Daniel Craig version of James Bond, right? For those of you guys that have watched the movies, you know that it is not the same actor in every movie. So Daniel Craig being the most iconic, I would say, James Bond, or one of the most iconic James Bond actors, that is who we are going to use for the pictures. So again, James Bond, well-rounded man. So we'll talk about physical mastery first, right? So if you want to live the James Bond lifestyle, you got to be fit, okay? You can't be James Bond lifestyle and be fat. So being that I've been on both ends of the spectrum, I will confidently tell you guys that in order to achieve this, right, you want to train at least 3 times a week minimum, right? Very simple. I'm not going to cover exactly what workouts to do in this video, but train 3 times a week minimum, do cardio every day, lift those weights, and ultimately practice some sort of combat sport, right? Even if you're just hitting a heavy bag, like just get used to it, get used to hitting something, whether you're going to a official boxing gym or jiu-jitsu gym, whatever it is, right? As long as you're just committing to just practicing it at least some of the time, and you're lifting weights and you're doing daily cardio and you're just progressively moving that needle forward, then not only are you going to get the confidence from looking better in your body, right? And there's a lot more to this, but you're going to get the confidence from looking better in your body, but you're also going to have the discipline of showing up every day, and even when you don't feel like it, still showing up, right? And there's times where maybe if I'm not able to make it to a specific workout, or maybe I wake up late or whatever it is, right? Then I'm still getting that workout done later in the day. So it's all about the discipline, and that is where the confidence in your physical mastery is going to come from. So with that being said, of course we have the Bond style. So after you're already in shape, right, you're probably going to be wondering, well, what do I wear that's going to complement my body, right? You have to wear something that complements your body well and that fits the shape of the body that you have built, right? So as far as the Bond style, you always see him wearing a suit. You always see him looking sharp, right? You don't always have to wear a suit or look sharp, or wear something like that, like he's wearing in this picture. But if you just have like 3 tailored suits, okay, they don't have to be crazy expensive, just go to like a suit store where it's like $300, $400 for a suit, get them tailored, and I promise you they're going to look better than the guy wearing a $2,000 suit that's not tailored, right? So overall looks of how the suit fits on you, this should actually say fits right here, but the overall fit of the suit is going to matter a lot more than the material quality, right? Just because you spend $2, $3, $4,000 Tom Ford suit, whatever, it doesn't mean that it's going to look good, especially if you're not in shape. So you got to get in shape, okay? Also, be well groomed, right? Have a fresh haircut, have a fresh lineup, fresh whatever. Like, make sure that as far as your body hair, everything that's going on your body that's attached to you is well groomed. Don't have grown out nails, all this stuff. Don't have hair that's like way overgrown out, blah blah blah, right? I actually need a haircut right now, but This is why you need to make sure that you are keeping on top of all these things, because these things are only going to enhance your look, right? And of course, is you want to develop some sort of signature look to you. You don't need to copy James Bond. You don't need to copy, insert your favorite influencer or whatever. You can develop a signature look to you that's going to give you the benefit in all the situations that you want to put yourself in, right? Because you're going to be a unique, your own person, right? So, of course, we'll move on to social intelligence, right? So James Bond, he's a G, right? And because he's a G, he knows how to shake people's hands, remember people's names, and ultimately create a presence in the room, right? He's maintaining eye contact in every situation, every conversation. He's not nervous to talk to people. A lot of people nowadays, especially with TikTok and all this stuff, they're nervous to talk to people. I don't know why. Like you guys are nervous to make videos, you're nervous to talk to people, like there's just no confidence, and a lot of that is coming from all these things and that we've talked about in this video, right? But ultimately is that if you want to live the lifestyle of a guy who's this capable, of a guy who has the ability to do all these things, is you need to be confident. You need to look people in the eye. You need to be calm, right? Don't be unpredictable and sporadic, right? In conversations. So of course, you want to develop some sort of emotional control, right? If something goes wrong, if something is not handled well, if the bill is incorrect at the restaurant, whatever it is, you want to handle that, right? Handle that urgently. However, you don't want to get emotional about it, right? Maybe they charge you extra for some bottle of champagne or something like that. Don't get emotional about it. It's fine. Just have the problem solved, right? If you're with a woman, right, or she's with you, make sure that she doesn't even know what happened, right? Because she's not even going to be paying attention. And then from there, the problem is taken care of, right? Very, very simple. So if you maintain all of these things in every interaction that you go through, you're going to see that you're just going to be a seamless person to be around. And that's what people like, especially women. So financial independence, of course, James Bond is financially independent, right? He doesn't stress about the bills getting paid. He doesn't rely on his mom for him to, for her to pay his car insurance or his bills or whatever it is, right? Pay for all of your own stuff, pay for all of your girl stuff, right? And build high value skills, right? The way that you do this is by achieving financial independence, right? Is you build skills that are just going to pay you. So for example, right? Maybe you know how to work out and maybe you become a personal trainer, right? That's something that I've even considered, right? If you have a certain skill and you know that you could teach other people that skill and you know that people are willing to pay money for that skill, but they just don't pay you yet because they don't know about you, then you could make money there, right? It's not that difficult, right? And of course, multiple income streams is good, right? If you're starting, let's say, an online business, I know a lot of you watching this right now probably have or want to start some sort of online related business. That's great. You can do that, right? But also have some sort of job or something paying you actively. That way you're not just relying on this one thing, right? Until that gets up and running, then at least you have something else in the pipeline still paying you, still putting cash in the bank account. Very important. And then finally, crypto. We all know crypto is the future. Any extra money you have, put that in Bitcoin, leave it there for 30 years. You guys can thank me when you're 60 years old. So next is focus on freedom, not just buying expensive shit. Okay, you don't need whatever that newest car is or that newest phone or that newest whatever. It's not really about all that stuff. It's about the freedom and the ability to have it, right? For example, this phone right here is an iPhone 15, okay? This is an iPhone 15 Pro Max that came out in, I think, 2024 or something like that, 2023, okay? And this phone is literally the same exact thing as the 16, which is probably going to be almost the same exact thing as the 17. So you don't need the newest stuff, right? If you want to have a nice car, you don't need the 2026 BMW M3 competition. The 2021 BMW M3 competition is going to cost you probably 40 to 50% less and still literally be the same exact car. So what I'm saying is it's not about blowing money. It's about being financially free, right? And if you can create a bigger gap between what you make and what you're spending and still have a very comfortable life, then that's what's going to matter more than just having the newest version of some materialistic thing that's going to get outdated anyways. I promise you that. Been there on both sides, by the way. So Next is James Bond. Of course, we all know has a very, very high level skills. One thing is you want to be able to speak multiple languages, right? Right now, I'm learning Spanish. I've learned Spanish throughout my entire life growing up, but I have never like really sat down as an adult and like been like, okay, I'm learning this right now. So right now I'm learning Spanish, right? And you can learn other languages depending on what you already know. There's like Mandarin, Arabic, all this stuff. And I give two complicated ones. Those are pretty hard languages to learn, so I hear, because not many people speak them. However, if you are especially an American that knows how to speak those languages, that is one, a very valuable skill to have, but two, is it's wildly impressive because most Americans can just speak English, right? So developing a fluency for other languages is going to be extremely important if you want to live that James Bond lifestyle because it allows you to be more capable, right? You can communicate with more people. And what is that going to do? That opens the doors for more business and more interactions and overall just more opportunities, right? So also understand how traveling works. A lot of guys have never flown on a plane. They have never flown on a private jet. I have never flown on a private jet, but they don't understand how traveling works, how to get places, right? To them, it's very foreign, it's very scary. And you need to understand how all of this traveling stuff works because if you don't understand how all this traveling stuff works, then you're always going to be afraid of what might happen if this happens, right? If you're stuck on an island in Puerto Rico and there's a hurricane coming and you got to get out, can you be the type of person that can arrange for that escape, if you will, from that environment? That is a decision that you have to make. Next is how to properly eat at nice restaurants. A lot of people that don't know how to use their fork, they don't know how to use their knife, they don't know where to put it on the table, they don't know how to signify that they're done eating their food. And I see it all the time. It's bad, right? You guys have to look up a video or something of like just how to properly eat at a fine dining restaurant in America or in Europe or wherever you're at, and you'll see that there's probably a lot of things that you didn't know. And I'll be honest, like when I first learned this, I was like, really? Like people eat like that? And it's not like you have to eat in a super fancy way every time with your pinky pointing out. But what I will say is people will notice and you will be more respected in that environment if you show that you're competent with the tools in front of you. Next is how to keep your card on file, right? Keep your card on file in the places that you frequent. So this is a trick that I have done a handful of times, not very many. However, I would like to implement it more. And if you're going somewhere where you know that there's going to be a bill coming and it's just going to be this big thing, whatever it is, just put your card on file, man. Just give them your card over the phone, right? Make sure that your card is on file for that bill, and then that way the bill never comes. It's magic. You just take care of it, right? James Bond. What does he do? He just takes care of it. Develop relationships with key players in your life. If you know there's a place that you always frequent and you always want that same waiter or you always want that same driver or you always want that same whoever it is that is going to enter your life for that brief moment of time or whatever it is, right? Maybe I've seen some people have like a dedicated personal driver that they always use that same person. I've seen some people always go with the same waiter at the same restaurant and develop relationships with those people. Those could be very valuable people in your life and they could make your life a lot easier, right? When it comes to going through the environment and experiencing the same level of experience every time, right? If you're taking a girl to a restaurant that you'd like to go to, wouldn't you want the same great experience that you had the previous time that you went there when you decided that it was a good place to take her, right? So just developing those relationships with key players is going to make a huge difference. And then finally, just always appearing competent and having the confidence to get through any situation, right? Even if you have no clue what you're doing, at least have the confidence to just figure it out, right? Even if like you're getting in a car, it's a stick shift car, and you have never driven stick shift in your life, at least just have some level of confidence to just figure it out. And like even if you have to just run to the bathroom real quick, look up a YouTube video of how to drive stick, go ahead, get back in the car, your girl's in the car waiting for you, and you make it look like you've done this a million times, even though the car is revving like crazy, fuck it. Fuck it. Just do it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be a lot better off moving confidently through situations than telling her or telling whoever it was in the situation that you had no clue what the hell you were doing. Unless it was your boys. If it was your boys, just tell them you didn't know what you were doing. And maybe they'll happily teach you. But if you're in a situation like how I explained, and you need to just figure it out somehow, then figure it out. YouTube is free, Google is free, ChatGPT is free. Let's use the tools available to us. Seek adventures. Okay, Bond, it goes on a lot of adventures. You can see he's always in a new environment, always in places where he is not, right? And what I mean by that is like you see him in front of a nice car in a busy city street, then you see him in the middle of the field with a hunting rifle, then you see him in the middle of whatever country, I don't even remember, um, with a polo shirt on and fresh sunglasses. And this is what I'm saying is like, you have to seek the adventure, okay? You have to try new restaurants, try new places, try new styles, try new skills, go shooting, skydiving, racing, hiking, hunting, whatever it is, right? Go karting, BMXing, try all these new things because you might like them and they make for great stories. They make for great opportunities to meet new people, business opportunities, even go golfing. You'd be surprised people that you meet and the people that are into these different things that you would have never known if you would have never tried it, right? So the key points of Bond is excitement, adventure, risk, and finally reward, right? You're never going to get the reward if you never take the risk, and that's why you want to try all these new things and get out of your comfort zone, because the comfort zone is going to be your worst enemy in this life, I promise you. So finally, almost finally, is think like Bond, right? So you want to develop an entirely new mindset, right? Be open to discovery, be open to discovering just new opportunities, new things that you like, new activities, right? And never put yourself in a place where you're limiting yourself to just the place where you grew up or the things that you've just always done or the foods that you've always ate, because you never know what's out there, right? And just know that even when things are difficult, those become your best stories. And the mindset of a person who thinks like a stoic, which is a person who understands that there are many outcomes in this world and that they're just going to do the best possible outcome that they could choose at the time, and they're not going to be attached to the result, right? They're not going to be emotionally attached to what's going on, right? They're going to treat themselves as the king of the kingdom, not the world as the thing that's running their life, right? And you guys can read up on stoic mindset and all this stuff, and there's books that go way deeper into it, right? But ultimately just not letting the environment affect you, right? You're not letting the world happen to you. You want to be the thing happening to the world, right? And you want to curate your own reality and understand that in doing so, in the process of all this, very few will understand you. Very few. I can promise you that. And all the people that you grew up with, all the people that you went to high school, you went to university, college, whatever with, early 20s, blah, 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 all those people, right? They will probably not understand you until you get out of your comfort zone. You leave that nest of where you are, that where you grew up, you leave that place and you realize that nobody really cared anyways, and that you need to be open to discovering all the potential opportunities that are out there in the world, because you never know what's waiting for you. And finally, guys, is be yourself, right? You don't need to copy James Bond. And I know that this video is about how to live the Bond lifestyle, but you want to become your own James Bond, right? You want to become your own person, express yourself freely, and find the activities that you enjoy, right? Date the women that you like, do the things that you like to do. Maybe you don't like hunting, maybe you don't like racing, but maybe you really like fishing. Maybe you really like skydiving, whatever it is that you like to do, golfing, right? Lifting weights, for me, I love lifting weights, right? I'm not big on powerlifting or any of that stuff, but I like just muscle hypertrophy building. I love hitting the gym. I think it's awesome, right? I think it's fun. Find the activities that you like, right? I like playing pickleball. Pickleball's another thing, right? Not a lot of people, there's a handful of people that don't like it, and there's a lot of people that do like it, right? And everybody's going to have their own preferences and their own things that they do. And at the end of the day, you have to discover the activities that you like and the person that you want to become, right? And with the women, how are you supposed to know what kind of woman you like if you've only tried one type, right? If you've only had one type of fruit, you can't say that an apple is your favorite fruit if that's all you had. So I'd recommend going out there. I'd recommend going and trying different fruits, if you guys get what I'm saying, and find what is out there for you, because you never know if you never go and try it, right? And you want to give yourself an edge over the boring life of the masses, right? A lot of people live this life of just coasting through and never finding themselves and never discovering what they truly like, and always just giving themselves to everybody else and letting everybody else determine what's valid and what's not for their life, right? And at the end of the day, it's your opportunity. You have to see it as an opportunity to find yourself and discover your true, authentic self among all of the sheep that walk around you. Because I promise you, there's going to be so many people that they just live their lives for everybody else, right? They're not going to take into account that they only get one chance on this earth, right? They're not going to take into account that there's so many other people that we could meet, that there's so many other guys out there, girls out there that are just presenting countless opportunities that they would have never thought. But they'll just box themselves into this, I call it a box of approval, right? Where everybody around you just approves of what you're doing, but you're the one that's unhappy, and you're the one that has to live with that every day. So even if other people around you may be judging, maybe thinking something of you, or trying to make it seem like you're somebody that internally you're not, that is what they're used to seeing of you, then it's your opportunity to separate yourself from the sheep. And with that being said, that is the video. If you like the video, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.